For the debate, the member for Sudbury.
Thank you, Speaker. We're here today discussing Government Bill 124, the Protecting a Sustainable Public Sector for Future Generations Act. It was tabled last June, nearly 5 months ago, 4 months, 24 days. I have to concur with my colleague earlier who had said, I'm not sure why we're tabling this and discussing this when at the door, really, hydro healthcare, long-term care were the priorities. We barely stumbled forward on those, which would make a huge impact to a lot of people. But here we're on a bill to attack unions. Another thing that wouldn't even require coming here, but I'd love to debate here is my colleague, the MPP for Niagara Falls, his bill changing the Workplace Safety Insurance Act to help improve the protections available to indirectly hired temporary help agency workers. We could do that in a heartbeat after 5 people have been killed at temporary agency workplaces. Yeah. And all we need to do is change the word may to shall, with minimal debate, and we would stand and applaud. But instead, we're here talking about putting our thumb on the scales of the working class again. This is a government that has a cut first and ask questions later scheme that hurts Ontario's families, and they threaten the services that they demand on Speaker. And this Premier's latest scheme will disrupt the public sector services and create chaos. This is a bill that unilaterally legislates a cap on salary and compensation for public sector workers. It says, Speaker, all new public sector collective agreements will be limited to a pay and compensation increase of no more than 1% a year during a 3-year moderation period. I knew Conservatives loved the 1%, but I didn't see it this way. 1% is well below the cost increases families will have to pay for things like food and housing over the next 3 years, Speaker. You don't have to take my word for it. They love math and facts. I looked at the Ontario inflation rate. So if you go to the Consumer Price Index, and the Consumer Price Index, for those that don't know, they measure the increase of costs of basic products and services that Canadians consume on a daily basis. So they take food, shelter, clothing, healthcare, transportation, alcohol, and tobacco products. They measure how much they cost last year and this year. So, for example, last year for $100, you'd get a certain amount. You buy the exact same thing this year, it's going to cost you $101.34. That's a 1.34% increase of inflation. So the short version is CPI increases, inflation goes up. So a good way for people in Ontario to recognize this is next month when your hydro rates climb up, that's a sign of inflation climbing up as well. So I checked the Consumer Price Index over the past decade. 2008-2009, it was 0.35. That's pretty good, right? 1% would be above that. Unfortunately, the following years it was 2.46%, 3.19%, 1.42%, almost 1% in 2012-13, 0.99, 2.36% after that, 1.19 after that. 2015-16 was pretty good, 0.47. But the following 3 years, it was 2.19, 2.6, and 1.34. So almost every one of those, except for 2 of them, inflation was more than 1%. So that means that even if you get the full 1% of an increase, you're not actually ahead, you're losing money. So as much as they say this is a raise, it's actually a lack of spending, it's a loss in spending. So the government wants to cap wages at 1%, Speaker, per year, but the 10-year average, if you average it through, is 1.8%. And even if you take 3% of that total cap and just roll through, I played around with the numbers, I'm learning Excel. At worst, it was 3.85%. At best, I'm sorry, and at worst, it was 6.97%. So any way you look at it, you're going to lose money getting a 1% raise. You'll have less money, even though the price of everything is climbing. So what we're talking about, Speaker, is a pay cut. And the government is going to say this will be done in the deficit, or now they switched to the debt. Last year it was $15 deficit. Remember they kept saying that again and again? Oh, it was unbelievable. I looked on Hansard, I couldn't open them all, but on 71 separate days it was said multiple times. They pounded the table and they said $15 billion. And it was a catchphrase that they used to already cut $2.4 billion from public services. Even today, the member for Oakville talked about how expensive the debt was and the deficit was, and absolutely you do, but if you're going to balance your budget, you're going to talk about it like a household, then you can't cut here and spend like a drunken sailor at the other end, and I'll get into that. So the actual number actually was less than half the amount that they'd been saying all last year. It was $7.4 billion, which still is outstanding, but, you know, attention to detail. It's a government that cuts first, asks questions later. I like the phrase that our House leader said last year, ready, fire, aim. I think it encapsulates what we're doing. I think attacking public sector workers is exactly the kind of behaviour that we expect from this government. And frankly, Speaker, it's the kind of behaviour we expected from the previous Liberal government as well. I often say Liberal Tory, same old story, and this is another example. Because Liberals and Conservative speakers, they love attacking public sector workers. They love weakening public services, and they like to take that money and they like to give big tax cuts to the big business and their wealthy and well-connected friends. And this government, this Conservative government, just like the Liberals before them, are trying to dismantle our public services piece by piece. You think about what happened to the families of children with autism when they were here protesting the Liberal government, and the Premier said, "You'll never have to protest again." We had one of the largest protests I've ever seen at Queen's Park under the Conservative government. Outside protesting again. You think of the anguish, the uncertainty that they went through, and still going through. They're doing consultations, but frankly, Speaker, it feels like they're just kicking the can down the road to open further insult in April when they finally get the results. We all know on this side what needs to be done. We have a report that we've shared with the government about what needs to be done. So I don't know what further consultation they're counting on besides stalling. In Sudbury, for example, CCR, the Child and Community Resources, they offer autism therapy and behavioral analysis. They do it in Sudbury, my riding. They also do it at Thunder Bay, Kenora, and Algoma. Well, they used to, Speaker. They don't anymore. The Conservative cuts forced them to lay off nearly 90 employees, 90. If you think that's going to hurt the economy, you're right. And they no longer provide fee-for-service options for families. Frankly, Speaker, I think it's shocking that this government is telling everyday families, rank-and-file people struggling to make ends meet, that the cupboards are bare and that they're going to have to make sacrifices. And I'm in favour of making sacrifices for a good deal and a big plan, but the way they talk on one side, everyone has to make sacrifices and fill their pockets on their side is ridiculous. Because for the Premier's insiders, money is no object, and we've seen this again and again. There is no government too big for this party. 15 days after our summer recess, Speaker, the Conservatives, they increased their cabinet. They increased the number of parliamentary assistants by 72%. They went from 18 to 31 parliamentary assistants. In terms of base salary, they make 13.7% more than the rest of the MPPs. They added 5 associate ministers. I don't believe there were any before. They make 19.2% more than the regular MPP does. They've now appointed more cabinet ministers than any other province in this country. They have 21 ministers of the Crown. They make 42% more than the rest of the MPPs, almost $50,000 more, which, honestly, Speaker, $50,000 isn't even close to what a lot of public sector workers make.
Yeah, that's right.
They're struggling to make. And that doesn't include the other costs the Conservatives increasing their size of the cabinet. So the new ministers and associate ministers are going to have to hire more staff, which will expand on stuff. And the reason I'm talking about staff is this summer there was an ongoing Conservative patronage scandal, and appointees were forced to resign as a result of intense scrutiny, Speaker. There were gifted insider appointees to, such as Dean French's niece, and a lacrosse player connected to Dean French, and that was the tip of the iceberg. Those were the 2 at the top of the list. And the point I'm making, Speaker, is that the cupboards are never bare.
Please. Chief Government Whip on a point of order.
Speaker, I've been listening carefully to the presentation. Very little of what I'm hearing relates to Bill 124. Lacrosse has no correlation to what we're debating here today. Will we please move on with the
point of order? I've been listening as well, and I believe that the member has been on topic, but please make sure that you are tying your comments back to the bill. Thank you. Back to the member for Sudbury.
Thank you, Speaker. I appreciate the constructive criticism. The point I'm trying to make, Speaker, is that when we're talking to public sector workers, the government feels that 1% is absolutely the max we could spend. When we're talking about the government's friends and anyone outside the public sector workers, the max can be as high as they want. And that's the connection I'm making. I'll bring it around. Here's a good example of the cupboards not being bare for the Conservatives' friends. So this summer, they were forced to close down a $2.2 million strategic transformation office. This was another patronage scandal, and there's a lack of clarity around its value and its purpose. And the salaries, because we're talking about salaries for this office's core team, the deputy minister, $325,000. These are estimates that were listed. Director of Operations, $164,900. Senior Portfolio Manager, $127,300. Executive Assistant, $127,300. Executive Advisor, Business Integration Lead, $103,900. And Legislative Regulation Review and Compliance, $189,000. And also there are 5 special advisors who each made $127,300 each, of a total of $636,500. And that's the point I'm making. At 1%, and looking at even the lowest wage here, Speaker, $103,900. Similarly, and my colleague had mentioned this earlier in the debate, he had said ministers. I think what he meant to say was the deputy ministers. There are retroactive wage hikes for the deputy ministers. All 28 of them got a 14% raise. Retroactively, the new minimum salary would be $234,080. And they were allowed the 14% raise because their previous minimum salary was only $205,000. So imagine trying to make ends meet on that, Speaker. It's unbelievable. So no wonder we had to give them a 14%. And how do we pay for that? We cap the wages for people who are the working class. We cap them at 1% or low. So the government's imposing a 1% annual cap on pay and compensation for public sector workers. And this will apply to negotiations of workers' salary, but also to all other payments provided to or for the benefit of workers, including benefits, prerequisites, and all other forms of discretionary and non-discretionary payments. Just as a reminder, the 1% for them, and over any given 3 years in the past decade, inflation in Ontario was at 3.85 at its best and 6.97 at its worst. And inflation last year across Canada was at 2%. So what we're saying is that you won't even be able to afford the stuff you can afford this year. We're forcing you to take a cut and pretending that it's disguised as a raise. Our Conservative government, Speaker, they're picking a fight with people that make our provinces work. They keep our roads safe, they care for our loved ones, and they teach our children every day. These are the workers who make Ontario a great place to live. These are the families that provide the essential services that our families rely on. The Ontario Federation of Labour expects that over 1 million workers in Ontario will be affected by this legislation. 1 million workers will be affected by this. We're talking about teachers, we're talking about corrections officers, we're talking about EAs and support staff and school bus drivers, we're talking about nurses, children's mental health workers, college and university instructors, and care workers at long-term care homes. Also, Speaker, in Canada, my colleague had said it earlier, and it's worth emphasizing and repeating, that in Canada, the right to collective bargaining is a constitutional right. Every worker in this province is going to be impacted indirectly by this bill because it infringes on the basic constitutional right to free collective bargaining. Workers have the right to bargain collectively, they have a right to strike, although it's about 98% that are bargained successfully. So the pattern works. And these rights are part of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and the Supreme Court of Canada has ruled they're protected by the Constitution. So this is a fight that the government would love to have, but they're going to lose. And while they're having it, win or lose, it's going to cost Ontario a lot of money. It's going to cost us in lost services. It's going to cost us in legal penalties along the way and court fees. And honestly, I can't think of a union out there who isn't already picking up their phone and asking a constitutional lawyer what they think of this. Yeah. The government's decision to impose an arbitrary salary cap on workers without even attempting to negotiate is an attack on the right to free and fair collective bargaining in this province. This bill is imposing an outcome on workers before collective bargaining even starts. Bill 124 interferes with free collective bargaining by dictating what can and can't be negotiated. It would also grant broad and sweeping powers to the minister, and I shortened this through the whole thing, but to review collective agreements and, in his or her sole discretion, make an order that a collective agreement or arbitrary award is inconsistent with the Act.
Crazy.
Sorry, I have a cold. It doesn't make any sense that one person can go through a collective agreement that the employees and employer agree on and decide, I disagree, and be able to tear that up. And that's what's in our bill. This is a bill that so clearly infringes on collective bargaining rights that it will, without a doubt, be subject to a chartered challenge that will cost Ontarians and will not help us save any money. We know this because this is a bill that shares similarities with Liberal and Conservative legislation that has cost Ontario in the past. We saw it in the past before when the Liberals tried to impose contract cuts on public sector workers, and they lost. And that cost Ontarians tens of millions of dollars in settlement fees and penalties, not including what it costs us to go to court. Tens of millions of dollars. The Harper government also went through this wage restraint legislation in 2009, and it went through years of costly legal challenges. So it didn't cost us at the end, but it cost all the legal challenges that it went through and the labour strife. And I know that this doesn't concern our government, Speaker, because Conservatives like spending taxpayers' money on court challenges. As the MPP for Hamilton West, Ancaster Dundas, said earlier today during debate, it's not the government's money, so send in the lawyers. So they love spending money on losing the climate change court challenges. We're looking at $30 million in counting. So when I hear the government, Speaker, on the other side saying, we've got to run the government like our household, we've got to pinch our pennies. Also, we've got to spend $30 million fighting an unwinnable climate change court balance and go back again. It doesn't jive. It doesn't match up. They also want to cancel a legally signed contract with the beer store that's going to risk hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees and penalties for something that nobody really is pushing for. Speaker, these tactics will not help Ontario save. They're going to cost Ontarians, and it's going to leave families feeling more squeezed. We know there's a deficit in Ontario. We know there's a debt. But this will not solve the province's revenue troubles. No different than back in Mike Harris's days when they sold off the 407 for a song. It helped make a little dent in a short term, and long term we lost it all as rates climbed and climbed and none of that revenue came to our government.
Highway to hell.
In 2012, the Drummond report found that wage restraint is an ineffective mechanism to manage spending over the long term and something that the government should avoid. He said, or they said on the report, instead we should be investing in workers, ensuring that they have more in their pockets to spend in their communities and local businesses, which creates new jobs. And we should be asking those who can afford it to pay their fair share in taxes. That's basically what our platform was. The people who can afford it, the super rich, should pay their fair share because the rest of us are paying our fair share. Instead of cutting from the lowest people who have the least amount of money, we ask the wealthiest people to pay their fair share because that's what's fair. Now, I know the Drummond report came out through the Liberals. Conservatives might think that the thumbs on the scale, it's not legit. So I just want to read here what I read this morning from Abhijit Banerjee, and I apologize if I mispronounced his name. Abhijit Banerjee was the winner of the Nobel Prize for Economics. And what he said was, you don't boost growth by cutting taxes, you do that by giving money to people. The investment will respond to demand. And then you ask those who can afford it to pay their fair share in taxes. So fun fact, Abhijit is the Ford Foundation International Professor of Economics at MIT, and he won the Nobel Prize for Economics along with Esther Duflo of MIT and Michael Kremer of Harvard University. So I believe they know what they're talking about. So what do we do out of here? Ultimately, at the end, Speaker, we're in a situation where we know we've got to do the right things. The difference, though, is that on this side of the House, we don't believe in attacking the people with the least amount of money. We don't believe in imposing caps on their bargaining process so that they can't have free collective bargaining. We don't agree in attacking public sector workers and demonizing them in the press. We want to support the people that support our families and support our communities. Ontario's families deserve a government that works in partnership with people and organizations to deliver the services we depend on every day. These workers, and who make our province a great place to live, deserve so much better. They deserve the respect and compensation that reflects the vital work that they do, Speaker. And this bill is a direct attack on the services they provide to decent work and in this province. The NDP believe that the government must consult before making any decisions, and I mean actually listen to the consultation. Just don't say we consulted with all of these unions, and anyway, here's what we're doing. New Democrats are going to partner with families. We're going to push back against the latest Conservative scheme. We're united with the Labour movement and calling on this government to stop their cuts to vital services, Speaker. We want them to invest in the people of the province. I want them to respect workers' rights. Thank you.